Right now, Clinton Jones is hosting the Endless Engines Community Challenge. It's actually the 6th time he challenges 3D artists from all over the world to create a unique animation based on a simple scene he provides. Last time, 3,600 individual artists submitted their work, but I didn't. However, this time is different. I managed to free up one day in my schedule to work on my submission for the challenge. I know one day is not a lot of time, but my goal is to still get into the top 100. And maybe I can inspire some of you guys to take part in the challenge as well. Wait, I don't need a day counter this time. I only have one day. The night before the challenge was announced, I rewatched all the Back to the Future movies. So after hearing about the challenge, I instantly knew what my scene would be about. One day is far too little time to create my own 3D models, so I started looking on the internet. This free model was not detailed enough. Then I found this perfect DeLorean model, but no. Then I found an even better looking one for only $13. Pricing for 3D models can be weird sometimes. After importing the model into Blender, I separated the wheels from the rest of the car to be able to animate it later on. Then I tweaked the materials a little bit to make them look more scratched up. I didn't like the DMC logo, so I replaced it with a way better one. That's it. Next I downloaded the base scene, which contains the animation data for the camera and the car. Then I made a road for the car to drive on and added the DeLorean to the scene. Because I separated the wheels from the car, I can now animate the car's suspension, but I'll do that later. For the lighting, I used an HDRI. I rotated it to get this really nice sun reflection. Next I created some hills for the background and downloaded these asphalt materials from Quixel Megascans. After fixing the UVs, I made the slider to adjust the amount of dirt on the road. Now the background needs some more details. The desert landscape from the third Back to the Future movie was my favorite, so I thought I'd create something similar. I applied a sand material to the ground, which was somewhat unnecessary because right after I covered the whole ground with rock assets. If you use Alt-D instead of Shift-D when copying an object, you only instance the mesh. This way you can have thousands of object duplicates without any lag. Give it some random rotation and you've got a really detailed ground. I duplicated it until I had filled the whole background. Then I planted exactly 97 cacti using a hair particle system. I scattered some rocks on the ground and moved on to the car animation. First I made the wheels spin. Well, maybe just on one axis. The car, however, still looks a little static, so I used noise modifiers to make it swerve across the road. Okay, not that strong. Alright, that looks way better. The steering angle is basically just a multiple of the derivative of the curve that makes the car swerve from left to right. The next thing I did was turning on the headlights. Every car shot looks better when the lights are on. I downloaded a few more rocks to build some formations in the background. Towards the end of the shot, I want the time machine to make a time jump. I made some parts of the car glow and used a particle system on the wheels to make them emit sparks. For the big plasma thing in front of the car, I modeled a random object and applied a displace modifier. I gave it a glowing material as well. Making the fire track was relatively easy. I projected a video clip of a fire onto a plane and made it translucent and emissive. Then I used a gradient node in the shader editor to mask the track, to make it appear just like in the movie. One of the last things I did was taking a screenshot from my last video, which you should definitely watch next. I cut myself out using Blender. That's right, Photoshop is for losers. And then I put myself into the driver's seat. It's very supple, but it still adds to the realism. And lastly, I filled the gaps in the background using more rocks. So after only 2 hours of rendering, this is my submission for the Endless Engines Community Challenge. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Usually I upload my scene files to the Patreon, but this time I didn't model anything myself, so I'll just upload some wallpapers to the $1 tier.